What's this? A real challenge? You've finally caught my attention. A fellow exile. One more fool under Zana's sway. Allow me to destroy you before she has a chance to betray you too. At least my way will be quick. You slew my friends. You brought ruin to my world. You have invaded my venison. I should be furious, and yet I feel nothing. How boring and small. Destroying you is as easy as flicking a pest. Did you really think this would work? I transcended all this long ago. Feel the thrill of
the void. Why run? What's the point? Your lives are meaningless. Watch beauty crumble.
But now you will fight on my lands. You assumed I share the same weakness as my fellows. And now you come to me. Is it bravery or foolishness? You will long for
non-existence. Rain of stars. Everlasting fire. Glorious flames. Be silent. Die.
drives you, exile? Is it justice? Revenge? Honor? No. It is power. We felt your deeds. Felt their shockwaves ripple through the void. You have our attention. Now you must keep it. Your limits will be tested. The stars themselves will bear silent witness. How far will you bend before you break? Drives you, exile? Is it justice? Revenge? Honor? No. It is power. You have our attention. Now you must keep it. Your limits will be tested. The stars themselves will bear silent witness. How far will you bend before you break?
Guys, what up? Dante here, and I'm bringing to you another little video. And in this one I'll be showcasing the build that I'm currently playing, and I have been playing for I think about a week now. This build is absolutely fantastic. I just love it. I don't know what to say anymore. It's just the build is really good. As you'll probably see in the footage, it's really fast. The boss damage is absolutely insane. The survivability, you might think we only have like 4.1k life, but we are actually pretty tanky, and I'll explain that as we get into it. So without further ado, please allow me to show you what I have been playing. So this is a Elemental Hit Raider. So Elemental Hit is let me get the gem right here. So the funny thing about Elemental Hit, because it has a lot of tags which we can benefit from in multiple ways. So as you can see, it has a tag, projectile, melee, strike, fire, core, lightning, AoE, and bow tags, which means it benefits from all the increased damage to those tags, right? Increased fire damage, core damage, lightning damage, AoE, bow damage, and stuff like that. So let's get straight into the gear. For the bow, we are using a thicket bow for the attack speed with +1 socketed gems, +1 socketed bow gems. The best in slot is +2 socketed bow gems. Bow attacks fire 2 additional arrows. You really want this because the damage that we get, all our damage is coming from all the arrows that we're shooting, okay? The more arrows, the better. Simple as that. Okay, and then we just have some attack speed and damage penetrates, fire resistance. I crafted this bow using Elishar's guide. If you want to see the guide on how to craft this kind of bow, please look up Elishar. He is like a god of crafting, so, and he has very detailed guides on how to craft this on a budget. If you want to buy this bow, it is very expensive, but crafting it may prove to be cheaper than you think. Okay, so this is the bow that we want. Again, bow attacks fire 2 additional arrows, the must-have, and then the gems, and then the pen, and then the attack speed. Okay, great. For the gloves, we are using gloves with Intimidate, +1 Frenzy, life and resistances, and attack speed. Okay, before I crafted these gloves, I have been using Hands of the High Templar with attack speed, +1 Frenzy, implicit. These are probably more budget than these. I don't know, I haven't checked the prices recently, but all the footage in the video has been done with these gloves, and none of the bosses that you've seen in the video have benefited from the Intimidate. So yeah, you can get a pair of these and you'll be just fine. For the belt, we are using a Warlord influenced Stygian Vise with a bunch of life, a bunch of added fire to burning enemies, fire damage, resistances, and stuff like that. And probably the thing that you want here instead of fire damage, probably elemental damage with attack skills, but it's just good enough, right? How you craft this, you buy the base, or you make the base the Stygian Warlord, and then you just bombard it with fire fossils, scorch fossils, that's the name, until you get something really good that you're happy with. Okay, great. For the boots, we are using a Elusive Tailwind pair of boots with resistances, and the Chosen, which is a Veil mod from Ailsling tier 4 with 30 movement speed and movement speed if you haven't been hit recently. The enchant is not the best. You ideally want damage penetrates 10% elemental resistances if you haven't killed recently, so try to get that if you can. For the quiver, it is just a shaped quiver. Oh, and this needs to be divined a little bit. Yeah, and what you want on the quiver, it is the fires, bow attacks fire a additional arrow. You really want it. That's the main thing that you want, followed by the highest elemental damage or attack skills tier that you can get, some life, and you definitely want a lot of crit multi. For the rings, these are the budget rings. These are not the +1 Frenzy implicit rings that cost like 80x, so I'm not gonna be doing that anytime soon, no way. So these are the budget rings. What you want on the rings is life, elemental damage or attack skills, cap your resistances, and if you can, non-channeling skills have minus mana cost. Same on the other one, LA damage or attack skills, max life, resists. That's about it for the rings. For the amulet, we are using Zoph's Blood. with Lava Lash anointed. Nothing much to say. This is the best in slot amulet. Enemies, when they hit you, are covered in ash. So basically, when you get hit, the enemies are covered in ash. Being covered in ash applies 20% less movement speed and 20% increased fire damage taken, which is great. For the helmet, we are using Ascendancy enchant with increased elemental hit attack speed enchant. This is probably the budget option. I do have this helmet that I crafted. It was not cheap to make. It's not easy to make. It can break very easily. This is probably the most expensive item. I think it's about like between 50 and 80 exalts, something like that, to sell. So all the footage in the video has been with Ascendancy enchant. Ascendancy enchant basically triggers spells when you attack with a bow every 0.3 seconds on cooldown. And that's how we get our curses up and stuff like that. Cool. So if you got the budget, get one of these. It's going to be a massive DPS increase from the crit multi and element and debuffing the nearby enemies, plus a good chunk of life also. So right now we are at 4.139. If I put this on, it is 4.3, so about like what, 200 HP just from that. But the budget version is definitely Ascendancy enchant. Okay, for the body armor, it's a pretty basic. Attacks have increased critical strike chance, additional curse chest with power charge on crit. How do you craft this chest piece? You basically woke orb, attack crit, and 15% chance to gain a power charge on crit, and then you do suffixes cannot be changed, and you do a reforge caster, which guarantees you additional curse. Okay. It's probably pretty easy to make. It only costs you like the bases and the Awakener's Orb. And depends on when you get on the suffixes, you might reroll once or twice, but that's about it. So that's about it for the gear. Pretty basic. Let's get into the links. For this setup, we are using 2 elemental hit setups, one for clear speed, which is this one, and one for single target. For the clear speed one, this is for the single target one, we put it in the bow to benefit from the levels, because clear speed is perfectly fine. You don't need a lot of damage on clear speed, but you want a lot of damage on single target. So for the single target, you put it in the bow, and you have elemental hit, hypothermia, which benefits from the skitterbots, awakened elemental focus. It's pretty expensive. You can get it. Maybe it's not even that expensive. How much does it cost? Oh, okay, so it's a tad expensive, like 4 exalts, but it's definitely worth the investment. It's gonna bump your damage quite a bit. And then we have elemental damage with attacks. Obviously, if you can get the awakened version, it is even better. All the footage in the video is done with this, not with the woke version. And barrage support and anomalous inspiration. Great. For the auras, we have precision, anger, summon skitterbots, and enlighten to help us reserve just enough mana so we can attack and use our movement abilities. You want to level precision as much as your mana allows you to. Okay. And our boots, we have dash, second wind, steel skin, and portal. Steel skin is just a damage reduction, and yeah, you put it on your left click and you use it on cooldown basically. Okay, for our clear speed setup, we put in the chest, and we have elemental hit, inspiration, chain, hypothermia, anomalous mirage archer. Anomalous mirage archer is very, very good for this build because it helps you so much with the clear speed, and you want the anomalous version because mirage archer fires 2 additional projectiles, which is great because it's gonna help your clear speed immensely, especially in ultimatums. You just run around and your mirage archer just DPS things up. Okay. And for the last gem, elemental damage for attack support. Again, if you want to go the awakened version, please do. The damage will be amazing. In our helmet, we're gonna put our curses like flammability, sniper's mark, combustion, and wave of conviction. Just took a drink of water there. So yeah, and every time you attack, you see it triggers them automatically every time. So there's the flammability, there's the wave of conviction, and supported by combustion, which is amazing. If you will run a setup like with this helmet, then you probably want to use a Arcanist brand to trigger Sniper's Mark and flammability if you don't have a flammability on hit ring or on your gloves. Okay, let's get into the passive tree. Our Ascendancy is, as I said, Raider. We are going with the Way of the Poacher, Avatar of Slaughter. We get a lot of benefits from stacking Frenzy charges. Quartz Infusion, and Avatar of the Veil. Avatar of the Veil is amazing for this build because it gives you element immunity, you have phasing, basically you have phasing all the time from Quartz Infusion, and nearby enemies have 20% less accuracy, which is amazing. Good. So it is a basic cookie cutter tree. You find it on all the guides on PoE Ninja. It is not something revolutionary. You just look Elite Hit Raider on PoE Ninja and most of the builds will probably have this tree or a slight variant of it. Okay, so for the jewels, let's start with the jewels. Obviously, we are going with a fire Elite Hit. Thus, we are going to use 2 combat focus jewels, Crimson and Viridian. What do these do? So combat focus is with 40 strength and intelligence in the radius, elemental hit, and wild strike. Very interesting, the Elite Hit part. They are 50% less cold and cannot choose cold. So that negates the cold, and we're gonna just do fire and lightning. When we put this in, the same thing here. Elemental hit cannot choose lightning. So it can't choose lightning, it can't choose cold. Therefore, we only shoot fire projectiles. Great. Here we have the intuitive leap. We pick up these nodes. If you have enough accuracy, you can ditch this one and put your points somewhere else, but these are the main ones to take. This build benefits immensely from stacking frenzy charges. So we take all the frenzy charges on the skill tree, and that's why we also want the +1 frenzy charges on the glove. Ideally, the best in slot rings are the one with the frenzy charge implicit, but that's way out of my budget, so I won't do that because we already have enough damage as it is. Good. You want to take also Wind Dancer and Acro and Phase Acro, and yeah, basic cookie cutter build. So let's get into the cluster jewels. For the cluster jewels, we are using 8 passive, increased damage with hits and ailments. Wand attacks. Oh, I need to change this. Anyway, the things that you want is martial prowess, feed the fury, and fuel the fight. And for the other one, you want a fire damage cluster with distorting display, which gives you you blind enemies all the time because we attack so fast and we use elemental skills and stuff like that. Cremator is amazing for corpse removal. You don't have to worry about porcupines and stuff like that. And Prismatic Heart just to help us with our resist and elemental damage. For our mediums, we use pressure points and quick getaway on all 4 mediums. Just like that. So yeah, like I said, this build benefits a lot from stacking frenzy charges and crit multi. On your jewels, my build is not min-maxed. I haven't began to min-max it. I don't know if I ever will, to be honest, because it just performs so great as it is. But what you want on your jewels is % life and crit multi. You want crit multi with fire, coal, lightning, elemental skills, global crit multi, stuff like that, because elemental hit benefits from all those types of crit multi. I think I have one with double crit multi somewhere here. Yeah, this one, global crit multi, critical multi with lightning skills, because it has the lightning tag on it. So whatever crit multi you get, some life, you'll be good to go. Okay, so we talked about the skills, we talked about the gear, we talked passive tree, jewels. Let's hop into the POB a little bit and check it out. So this is the tree, as I already explained. So let's go into the configuration a little bit. As you can see, this is the single target setup. We are about at 34 million Sirus DPS. And let me explain how we got that. Power charges, yes, because we have a 15% chance to get a power charge on crit from our chest, and because we attack so fast and fire so many projectiles, it's inevitable we are gonna get power charges easy. Frenzy charges, yes, from our Ascendancy we get frenzy charges just by firing one arrow. Phasing, yes, from our Ascendancy we have phasing all the time. Tailwind, yes, from the crit from our boots. Elusive from our boots. Are you leeching? Yes, from our clusters. We are basically, what is it? There we go. Attack damage leeches life. You are always leeching. With every single attack, you are leeching. And are you unconsecrated? Yes, from our Ball of Faith. Oh, thinking about that, I'll get into the flasks later. We are using, I'm putting here travel, projectile travel distance 10 because I'm always melee, in the melee range of the bosses as you see in the video. So point blank gives us a huge amount of damage. As you can see, it's just by itself almost 8 million damage. So it's a no-brainer. Okay, and here ignited, yes, from our clear speed. As you saw on bosses, I usually do one attack to ignite them a little bit and then swap to the crit multi, not the crit multi, to the single target setup. I'm sorry. Is the enemy chilled? Yes, from the skitterbots. Is the enemy shocked? Yes, from the skitterbots. Is the enemy intimidated? Yes, from the gloves. If you don't have the gloves, this will not apply because you'll probably be using Hands of the High Templar. Is the enemy covered in ash? This is debatable. It depends if he hits you, but if a boss hits you, then yeah, it's gonna be covered in ash. I usually cover in ash because I usually take at least one hit from a boss. But we can tank it, it's no problem. Are you on consecrated ground? Yes, from our Ball of Faith. Is the enemy boss? Sirus, yep. Okay. So not much to explain on this build. It will be probably a shorter build than the Cockeyes Nova, which really popped off. Thank you to everyone who watched that, by the way. So yeah, about the flasks, I am using a Dying Sun, which is one of the best flasks you can use. It gives us a lot more projectiles, so it helps us immensely. Using a diamond flask, I need to reforge this because I have corrupted blood. I'm gonna probably put something else in here. Movement speed flask into curses, Ball of Faith, and Cinder Swallow. Yeah, and about the MTX, oops, I am using a Dragon Hunter bow and Dragon Hunter quiver, Pandemonium helmet, Insatiable Malice body armor, Insatiable Malice gloves, Insatiable Malice boots, Demonic footprints, and Demonic character effect. So yeah, and also the Fate Weaver weapon effect. So it's a pretty simple build, very cookie cutter. It's nothing too revolutionary, but you can personalize it to your playstyle. The way to min-max this build is there's multiple ways to min-max it. It all depends on your budget. You can get the Frenzy implicit rings and stuff like that. You can get better gloves. You can get a better helmet, better belt, double elevated boots. The sky's the limit. The ceiling for this build is extremely high. You can scale it into the stratosphere. So yeah, it's probably one of my favorite builds so far. I'll be continuing playing this because I did set a challenge to myself to farm a mirror. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed the build, leave it a like the video, sub to the YouTube channel, please. That would help me immensely. Like, you know, after the Cockeyes Nova build, I did get a lot of subscribers, and I thank each and every one of those for your support. It boosted my confidence a lot, and I do appreciate it. And I do appreciate all of you guys watching this video. And if you have any questions, I stream every other day, so once every 2 days basically, or maybe sometimes every day, depends on my work schedule. I stream on twitch.tv/Dante00151. The link will be into the description. We also have a Discord channel where our community is slowly growing. We have more and more people joining, just chatting, having some questions about different builds, recommending games to play and stuff like that. If you want to join, say hi, drop by the Discord. Link will be again down into the description. And yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions or thoughts about this build. And as always, I'll try to answer the most comments as much as I can. Okay, I don't want to drag this video again to be like almost an hour long. So thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it, and your support just helps me keep doing this. I love doing this. Hopefully one day I can get this into a fixed schedule, but until then, drop by the stream, sub to the channel, join the Discord, and as always, boys, stay safe and take care.